Alright, what's going on there, guys? Welcome back to NFL News Today. I'm Darren, and today I am bringing you another mock draft. This is version 2.0 of the 2021 NFL Draft. So, funny thing about this, I actually originally did this at like 5 p.m. on Saturday. Right now it's like 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday. And then I was planning on recording it either later that night or the next day on Sunday. Lo and behold, later that day on Saturday, Matthew Stafford gets traded and I originally had him going to the Colts, as that being a big part of how the draft selections roll out. That clearly did not happen, so I had to redo all of this. But yeah, this is kind of version 2.1, I guess you could call it, since version 2 got scrapped. But yeah, this one does feature trades because I put a poll out on my Instagram story at NNT_IG_ if you want to give it a follow. And everybody seemed to want trades. So still a one-round mock, however, it is featuring trades and may add some spicy ones at that. But yeah, before I get into the video, if you like these kinds of videos, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, share this with all your friends, all that fancy jazz. The last mock draft I did was really well received, so I'm really happy about that. Cannot thank you guys enough. Yeah, it's great. Like, I'm seeing a little bit of growth. Like, it's not like a substantial amount, but it's nice seeing just like a different subscriber count every day whenever I check the channel. So yeah, with all that ushy gushy mushy stuff out of the way, let's get to drafting. So Jaguars have the first pick. It's kind of, you know who they're going to pick. They're going to go with Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback out of Clemson. They need a franchise guy. Lawrence is everything and more. He is one of the best he's one of the best quarterback prospects we have seen in a while. And hey, you might even be able to get Gardner Minshew traded for maybe like a third or fourth round pick. I feel like he's still an average to good quarterback that was just put in probably one of the worst situations ever. But yeah, obviously Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jaguars. Jets have the number 2 overall pick, and this is where the fun begins. So let's get to the trading. So I actually had this as a 3-team deal, believe it or not. So the first thing that's going to happen are the Jets are going to trade their quarterback Sam Darnold to the Washington football team in exchange for their first round pick, excuse me. So I'll have graphics on the screen illustrating each trade, but since this simulator doesn't allow you to trade players, let's just assume the 7th round pick is Sam Darnold and they get Washington's first round pick. So boom, that's the first part of the trade. Then the second part of the trade, New York will then trade a bunch of picks to Houston, if I can find it all. So it will be their first round pick, the number 2 overall, Washington's first round pick, number 19 overall, second round pick, which does belong to them, the third round pick, which they got via Seattle last year from the Jamal Adams deal, and a first round pick next year. So let's just say it's this round 6 pick, but clearly they won't let me do that. I can't put next year's picks up. Yeah, this simulator is kind of weird, but it's the only one that allows me to control trades for both teams. And in return, New York will get Deshaun Watson, who we will illustrate with this round 7 pick. So I have a graphic on screen of what each team receives. I think it's a win-win-win deal. Washington gets a young franchise guy who really hasn't had a chance to prove himself yet. Darnold, he looked really good. Like, he looks like a good prospect. But like, he's just had bad teams around him, bad coaching. New York, they get a outstanding quarterback who really wants to be with their head coach, Robert Saleh. And Houston, they unload Watson, who, that could be lost, but in return, they get so much draft capital back, which they have not had since Bill O'Brien screwed them over. So now Houston has the number 2 overall pick and the number 19 overall pick. So keep that in mind. And with the number 2 overall pick, they're going to select Penei Sewell out of Oregon. So you might be thinking, why would they select Sewell? Why not select a quarterback? I feel like a big mistake a lot of teams are doing is drafting a quarterback early on in their rebuild or retooling process. I feel like you really need to have like a bridge quarterback to build a team around, and then you get your franchise guy once all those pieces are in place. I feel like these franchise guys are drafted so early on, and it puts such a bad name on bad reputation on their name. Sam Darnold being one of them. And I feel like you gotta build the team first before you get the quarterback. So Houston's offensive line, it's still struggling. It has gotten better. They got Laramie Tunsil, a couple other people, but put Penny Sewell opposite of Laramie Tunsil. That will be a pretty good offensive line for whoever is going to be taking snaps for them. Maybe it's AJ McCarron, maybe it's someone else. We have no idea. But the 3rd overall pick now, which is the Dolphins, which actually belonged to the Texans before the Laramie Tunsil deal, which I just spoke about, they will not be trading that. Instead, they will be using it to draft Jamar Chase. So, Tua Tagovailoa, nobody really knows what he is. He doesn't look top 5 worthy, but at the same time, he doesn't look god-awful. You know, it's a little too early to evaluate him. However, I do feel like you need a nice wide receiver opposite of Devontae Parker. You know, just give Tua some help. It's really, aside from Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki, he has no help on that offense. So give him another weapon, someone else to throw to. It will really help out Tua, and it will help out Parker, because if people are busy covering Chase, not many people are going to be busy covering Parker, and vice versa. So Jamar Chase to the Miami Dolphins. Falcons here at number 4. This is actually going to be another trade. Someone's going to trade up with them, and that someone are the Indianapolis Colts. So like I said earlier, I actually had the Colts trading with the Lions and stuff like that. So I have the Colts, you'll see what they're doing here. So if I can figure this out. So Atlanta's going to send over their 1st round pick this year, and in return, Indianapolis will give them their 1st round pick, their 3rd and 4th round pick, and next year's 1st. So 2 firsts, a 3rd, and a 4th to move up to number 4 in the draft. That is a pretty hefty deal, not going to lie. However, obviously I can't trade next year's 1st, so just pretend that 7th is next year's 1st. Once again, a graphic will be on screen. But yeah, that will be the trade. So the Colts now have the 4th pick, and the Falcons have the 21st pick. And with that 4th overall pick, the Colts will select Zach Wilson out of BYU. Wilson is someone who is pretty quickly jumping up to the top of a lot of mock drafts and draft boards. He had an outstanding season. Very surprised he was not a Heisman contender. And something else that you have to like about him is the situational football he was playing. He was not in all these perfect situations like a lot of other top quarterbacks are. He actually had some tough challenges to face, and he did pretty well. I mean, like, one of the main things he he wasn't really able to put together a game-winning drive against Coastal Carolina, but aside from that, all the other situational football he's been in, like actual like situations, it's been pretty good. And he looks like a great prospect, and the Colts really need a quarterback. Rivers obviously retired. Brissett is going to be a free agent. I mean, he's not the best quarterback, but I mean, who'd you rather have, Wilson or Brissett? And they're both going to be on similar deals money-wise. I mean, obviously Wilson's signing bonus will be higher, but still. So I have the Colts trading up with the Falcons to select Zach Wilson. So Bengals here at number 5. This is actually going to be another trade. Not so much of a trade up, but more so of a trade down with the Bengals. You know, they see that Penny Sewell's off the board. They don't really want to reach for some of the other offensive linemen like Slater or Darisaw. So they call around the league, see if anybody's willing to trade down with them, and they find a suitor in the Los Angeles Chargers. So if I can get this situated here, I've really not used this website before, but it's still the only one that allows me to control trades on both sides for each team. So Bengals and Chargers are going to be making the deal. Bengals going to send their number 5 overall pick to the Chargers. In exchange, Chargers will send it over a 1st, a 3rd, and next year's 1st. So might be thinking, that's not a lot compared to what, I mean, it's 1 pick less than what Indianapolis gave up. I feel like the Bengals, if it's a trade down, they won't ask for too much. I mean, 2 firsts and a 3rd to trade down, I mean, that's a pretty good deal, and you're still probably going to get one of the guys you want. Why not? Like, that's a great deal in my opinion. And the Chargers with this, they're going to select Kyle Pitts. So they could go a variety of different ways here. Probably not Micah Parsons. They drafted Kenneth Murray last year. Corner is a possibility here. However, I feel like Brandon Staley's going to have that defense taken care of. Why not get Justin Herbert another weapon, and why not get him one of the best weapons in the draft in Kyle Pitts? Pitts is much more than a tight end. He's someone you can probably line up in the slot. He's someone you can line up out wide, and that's going to create total mismatches for the defense. Like, this offense will be so fun to watch and so good if they get Pitts, and man, that is going to be an exciting combo to watch. Imagine it's Herbert throwing up to 6'6" Pitts. Like, why would you not want to see that? So Chargers, they trade up in the draft with the Bengals, and they go and get Kyle Pitts. Eagles here at number 6, they are going to go and select Devonta Smith out of Alabama. So Eagles really need a wide receiver. Jalen Reagor isn't looking too good. As much as I love J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he is not looking good at all. I mean, he's shown some flashes on tape, but he has not been targeted at all. Fulgham was like a 4-week hit. Zach Ertz is probably going to be gone. So really, right now, Dallas Goedert's the only real target on offense. You don't know who is going to be taking stats for them yet. You don't know if it's Wentz or Hurts, but either way, they really need someone that's just fun to watch, like a big playmaker like Smith. There are a little bit of concerns about him. He didn't weigh in or take his height at the Senior Bowl. A lot of people are like, I don't know about all that. You know, he's listed at 175. He looks a lot lighter than that, but he does have some weight concerns. However, I feel like he can bulk up a little bit for the NFL. He can take some hits. He's going to go up and high point to football. Like, you know, he's not afraid to do that. And he just runs so effortlessly. I feel like this will be perfect for Philly's offense with Nick Sirianni coming in. So, yeah, Eagles go get a playmaker in Smith at number 6. And speaking of Alabama wide receivers, the Lions at number 7 with their new kind of shiny quarterback, Jared Goff, they go and select Jalen Waddle. So this could be a defensive pick here. Not really seeing corner. Micah Parsons possibly. Maybe even go edge here. But, you know, they're not going to go quarterback because they just got Goff. All the top 3 wide receivers in Detroit are going to be free agents, and they're probably not going to be able to pay any of them because they took on all of Goff's contract. Galladay's an impending free agent. Marvin Jones is an impending free agent. Danny Amendola, I mean, he's not that good, but still, he's an impending free agent. So, like, I don't know, Quintez Cephas is going to be your number 1 wide receiver. Like, you got to go get Waddle. He probably would have been he probably might even been better than Smith this year if he didn't get hurt. But, you know, he is so fast. He has great route running. He has outstanding hands. He's a little bit on the shorter side, but that should not affect him at all. Waddle is going to be a stud. He also brings a lot of help to your special teams. Granted, the Lions have Jamal Agnew, but Jalen Waddle goes to Detroit to be paired up with Jared Goff. Panthers sitting here at number 8. They're going to go and select Justin Fields. So, if you know me, you know I don't think Ohio State quarterbacks ever do good in the NFL. Fields may change that. In my opinion, probably won't. You know, situational football, I talked about that. But the Panthers need a quarterback. So, why not take a chance with Justin Fields? He has shown some ability. He has great arm strength. He's an outstanding runner, and he kind of really is similar to Teddy Bridgewater, but except he will throw the ball downfield as opposed to Bridgewater, who just kind of checks it down a lot. So, you know, Bridgewater really isn't looking like the answer in Carolina. So instead, they go and take Justin Fields, who, even though I think probably will end up being a bust, Carolina, they go and take a chance on him. Broncos here at number 9. There's a couple of different ways they could get here. They could go Micah Parsons. They could go Patrick Surtain. They could go Caleb Fairley. However, I'm throwing a little bit of a curveball here, and I'm going to have them take Kwity Paye out of Michigan. So Paye is an edge rusher. It's more so because Von Miller, he is not going to be on the team very much longer, and he is getting older. So you got it when you have a dominant player like Miller, someone who is dominant on the field, is a great leader, and is someone who is wildly respected off the field. I feel like it's important to get their predecessor while they are still on the team. That way you can get someone who can literally be a plug-and-play replacement. Someone who can literally be a plug-and-play replacement for them on all 3 phases. And I feel like if you do that with Paye, you know, they won't miss a step on defense. So Kwity Paye goes to the Broncos. I got the Cowboys here at number 10. This one's going to be Caleb Fairley. So when it comes to Fairley and Surtain, it's really 1A, 1B on who's the better corner. I prefer Fairley. I might prefer Surtain. It's potato. But Fairley, he's going to help out that Cowboys secondary that has been decimated this past year. Chidobe Awuzie did not fit in well as a CB1. Byron Jones left the team. Trayvon Diggs, he showed a couple flashes, but he is not looking all that good. That defense all around was terrible, but it starts with the secondary. Once again, maybe a Micah Parsons spot, but I feel like I know that Jalen Smith didn't exactly have the best year, and Leighton Vander Esch was kind of hurt this year, but I know Smith has a new contract. I forget if LVE has one, but you gotta commit to them at some point if you have them under contract. That's just how I work. And in coverage, they really weren't that bad. It was just stopping the run that they had trouble with. So that's why I don't have them taking Parsons. So Fairley goes to the Cowboys and helps out horrendous secondary. We got the New York Football Giants here at number 11, and they go and take Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. So once again, a variety of ways they could go here. They could go with Patrick Surtain, probably not Micah Parsons. Blake Martinez seems to have that locked down. This could be a Gregory Rousseau spot. You know, you got Leonard Williams probably leaving in free agency, so you need to have someone on that defensive line to, you know, get sacks. But I have them going Rashawn Slater. The offensive line was absolutely terrible for New York last year. You can tell because Saquon Barkley was averaging like 1 yard per carry. Not even that, like 1 yard per game, honestly. And Daniel Jones was sacked like 50 times last year. So if you get Slater, it really helps out the offensive line. It's going to help out Jones. It's going to help out Barkley. It's going to help out that entire offense. This could also be maybe a trade down spot if they want to wait and get Rashad Bateman. However, I don't see that right now. I see them addressing a huge need on offensive line, and they do that with Rashawn Slater. Niners here at number 12. I have them going with Patrick Surtain. So I don't have them taking Trey Lance. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is really overhated. No Micah Parsons here. They got Fred Warner. Don't really need that defensive line's already dominant. You don't need any help on the line. So you go out and get Patrick Surtain. You got Richard Sherman being an impending free agent. Jason Verrett's not getting any younger. Surtain's a top 2 corner in this draft who will really help out that defense, who wasn't the best last year, albeit because of injuries, but still, he is going to be that lockdown corner you can rely on to get a couple of turnovers within the season. So Niners, they take the best player available in my opinion, and they go with Patrick Surtain. So we got the Bengals here, number 13, after that trade down with the Chargers. And like I said, they still get one of their guys, and they go with Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. So Joe Burrow was drafted last year by them, and he ended up tearing both his ACL and MCL because of poor offensive line play, and he was getting sacked like 80 billion times a week. You have got to protect your golden goose and Joe Burrow. Like, I cannot stress how important that is. That is going to be so important. You do not want him getting injured like every season because of poor offensive line play. Do him a favor. Go get him a nice young offensive lineman that can be his protector for years to come. Bengals, you go and get Christian Darrisaw. Vikings here at 14, they go with Gregory Rousseau. So Rousseau is he's pretty raw, I will admit that. But that Vikings defensive line struggled to bring pressure last year. They were near the bottom of the league in sacks, and that's coming, like, the past couple years, they were one of the most dominant defensive lines. No Micah Parsons. They have pretty good coverage linebackers. You really need someone on that line. Really no one on the interior defensive line you even think about taking at 14. But they address one of their needs, which is defense. I don't have them taking a quarterback. I originally had them taking Zach Wilson to succeed Kirk Cousins, but obviously Wilson's off the board, and that was before I had trades. So, yeah, Rousseau goes from Miami, Florida to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he's going to go play for the Purple People Eaters. Patriots at 15, they go and get Trey Lance. So Lance brings kind of the best of both worlds of their previous 2 quarterbacks. You can get a nice pro-style quarterback like you have a Tom Brady and Trey Lance. He played in a pro-style system at North Dakota State University, but he also knows how to use his legs like Cam Newton did. So I feel like that's going to be a nice happy match, a nice happy medium between the previous two quarterbacks who were taking snaps in New England. There is always going to be that knock on him that, oh, he played for North Dakota State, he didn't play any good football teams, but he only played one game this year. But just look at what he does. He is so good. He does not turn the ball over. Trey Lance is going to be the new quarterback in New England. You got the Cardinals here at 16. This could go a variety of different ways. I see a lot of people taking edge. I think they're probably going to end up resigning Hassan Reddick. I don't think he's going to get paid. I feel like he's going to get paid, but not too much. A couple of different options here. I have them taking J.C. Horn. So, what's his name? Patrick Peterson's not getting any younger. Drake Kirkpatrick is also not getting any younger. He's also exactly not the best corner. So J.C. Horn, really good corner prospect. You can line him up opposite Pearson and then hopefully even have him succeed Pearson once he leaves the team. You really need to help that defense out. Buda Baker is not doing them any favors in the passing game. Great run stopping safety. I would not trust him with my life on defending the pass. So yeah, Cardinals, they go and get a nice corner to help solidify that defense. Raiders here at number 17. There's some rumors about them possibly trading for Deshaun Watson now, trading Derek Carr, which I find really weird. Came out of nowhere, honestly. But the Raiders, they do reach a tiny bit here, but not too much. They go and get Christian Barmore out of Alabama. He's someone that kind of surged to the top of draft boards late in the season, especially with his play in the National Football Championship or the National Championship game. I'm tired. But yeah, their defensive line was another one that was freaking terrible, especially the interior defensive line. It was not bringing pressure at all. I feel like you have a couple good pieces on the edge with Crosby and Cleveland Farrell. However, you got to do something about the interior defensive line. Jonathan Hankins is not cutting it. Christian Barmore, someone who is huge and will, help bring pressure, and he will help out that Raiders defense, which costed them a lot of games last year. Dolphins here are 18 with their original pick, and they are going to select Najee Harris out of Alabama. Is this a reach? Possibly. However, they don't have a running back. Matthew Breida clearly isn't working out. I don't think Myles Gaskins is a true number one running back. You need someone like Najee Harris, who is that pure power back who can just take the rock and run with it, break a couple of tackles, help out Tua. And when you have a strong run game, you can get some play action involved. Why not? You just really need to help give Tua some weapons on offense and really help take the pressure off of him. Texans here at 19 with the football team's pick. That's who it was Washington's pick. And they are going to go get Micah Parsons from Penn State. So Parsons experiences a classic draft day slide. Houston, you name it, they need it on defense. Honestly, really, except for edge. That defense has so many holes. So even though linebacker may not be the biggest hole, since Zach Cunningham was pretty good, you get someone like Parsons, you can really just help solidify the defense in the run game and the passing game. They need all the help they can get on defense. Also, he's the best player available here, so why not draft him? So Houston Texans go and get Micah Parsons. Bears are here at 20, but not for long, as ring ding 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 ding, we have another trade. Yeah, woo, yeah, trades. So I have the Cleveland Browns here trading up with Chicago, and the trade will feature Browns taking their first, third, and 5th overall picks to Chicago for their round 1 pick. So Browns trade a couple of mid-round picks and their first-round pick to move up 5 spots, well 6 technically, and they are going to use that pick to go and get Zaven College, an edge rusher from Tulsa. So you got Olivia Vernon leaving. So my theory of thinking here is, why not go get Collins and create one of the deadliest youngest pass rushing duos in the NFL with Myles Garrett and Zaven Collins. Like, holy cow, that defense would be so fun to watch. Like, I don't like. Who's going to stop them? Nobody. And you also got a couple of great pieces on the interior of the defensive line. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah could be a pick here. You know, your best linebacker is Sione Takitaki and Malcolm Smith. Neither of them are top notch. But, so, Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame could be a possible pick here. However, I'm going with the funner option in Zaven Collins because that will be extremely fun to watch. Falcons here sitting at 21 after their trade with the Colts, and they are going to reach here. I'm not going to lie, they're going to make a huge reach here, but they go get a position of need. They are going to select Trayvon Moehrig out of TCU. So Moehrig is probably the best like actual safety in the draft. They have a couple of issues on defense. I don't really think linebacker is one of them, so that's why I don't have them taking Jeremiah. Corners, I mean, A.J. Terrell played well. I don't think it's worth reaching for a corner either. So I have them taking Moehrig. I feel like the offense is, you know, nice and fine set. As long as you re-sign Gurley, you probably will go for cheap. I feel like that'll be a fine offense. But you really have an issue at safety, and that's really, you don't have one. I think Keanu Neal was like the only listed safety, so you get Moehrig to help him out. That really kind of solidifies the secondary. You got three nice pieces there. You already got Deion Jones locking down the linebacking core. You got Grady Jarrett on the defensive line. Maybe you go with Azeez Ojulari here, you know, keep the kid in state. That's another possibility. Wouldn't be as much as a reach, but I feel like Trayvon Moehrig feels a bigger need for them at safety. Pick 22 here, we have the Tennessee Titans, and it's good that the Falcons don't take Azeez Ojulari because the Titans are going to select him. Titans were like the 15th in NFL history or something with less than 20, they're like the 15 to have less than 20 sacks and make the playoffs. That's outstanding to me somehow. But they really need help on the edge. The Jadeveon Clowney signing blew up in their faces. They just really need help off the edge. Defense, which was like top 3 last year, really took a hit. And it was just surprising. So yeah, Ojulari goes to the Titans and really helps out a team that needs that dominant force on the defensive line. Jets sitting here at 23. A couple ways they could go. They could go with Travis Etienne possibly. However, I think they go and get some offensive line help for their new Golden Goose, Deshaun Watson, and they go with Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. So Watson's really never had a good offensive line his entire career, so please don't mess it up with him this time. You already have Mekhi Becton, who's been pretty solid, even good to great at tackle. So you go get some help on the interior of the offensive line, fill out some other pieces in free agency and later in the draft. But yeah, it is super important that you just get Watson a lot of help on the offensive line. Steelers here at 24. A lot of people are thinking, oh yeah, Travis Etienne goes here. Nope, I have them taking Creed Humphrey. So Marquise Pouncey retired. I feel like people really underrate how important the center is, especially when you have an all-pro like center in Pouncey. You really need a solid replacement for him, and Creed Humphrey is that and then some. He has a wrestling background. He did great this season. He really should have had the Senior Bowl. I feel like the Steelers' issue with the run game wasn't talent. It was just them not committing to it. So I feel like you get Creed Humphrey, you get a great center to replace Pouncey. It probably is going to be Big Ben taking Safram next year, which I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that, but could be a Mac Jones spot. But for right now, I think you can work with Big Ben, and if not, you still they signed Mason Rudolph. They're not signed. They still have Mason Rudolph. And they signed Dwayne Haskins. Like, even though it's not an outstanding quarterback, it's still a quarterback. So Creed Humphrey goes to Pittsburgh and replaces the Hall of Famer Pouncey. Jaguars at 25 due to the Jalen Ramsey trade, and they go and get Samuel Cosmi out of Texas. So this could be, you might be thinking, why not Wyatt Davis? They have a couple of pieces on the interior of the offensive line. You have Andrew Norwell and Brandon Linder already there, so I feel like they need help on the outside of it. So go get Samuel Cosme. Like I said with Deshaun Watson, you really have to protect Trevor Lawrence. Like, you cannot afford for him to get injured. Like, he is so good. You need him to be healthy 24/7. And how do you do that? You get him a great offensive line. Jaguars, another one of those teams who had a terrible offensive line this year. And it also will help out James Robinson in the run game, who was an undrafted free agent last year. Ended up being an outstanding signing. Bears on the clock here at 26 after they did the trade with the Browns. And they go and get Rashad Bateman. So, no quarterback here because you still have Nick Foles under contract. Maybe Mitchell Trubisky gets a 1-year prove-it deal out of Chicago. And you go and get the replacement for Allen Robinson. So, Darnell Mooney is an outstanding route runner. Anthony Miller can be a nice number 2 wide receiver, but I feel like you need a true number 1 guy in Rashad Bateman. If it wasn't for Smith and Waddle having outstanding years, I mean, Waddle was injured, but he was still having an outstanding year before he got hurt. Bateman probably would be the 2nd wide receiver in this draft. So, I feel like they get a great wide receiver to replace Robinson. Don't know who's going to be throwing passes to him yet, but whoever it will, they will enjoy having the luxury of a receiver like Bateman. Ravens here at 27, they are going to select Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State. So this might be a little bit of an overreaction pick based on how his offensive line played in the divisional round, but it really did play like bad. It played like crap. Davis is someone you can put at either center or guard. Some might be thinking, why not take a wide receiver here? That's not the issue with the offense. Like, the wide receivers aren't that bad. I understand they're not the best group, but it's not a group where you need to spend a 1st-round pick on. Like, the offense doesn't rely on the passing game. Like, I don't know why people don't understand that. Like, Lamar Jackson isn't passing the ball a lot. It's a heavy run-first offense. Like, hello, that's why they have Lamar Jackson. Like, that is the Greg Roman system. They don't need a dominant number 1 wide receiver because they aren't throwing the ball a lot like that. So they go and address the need in offensive line, and they go get a solid offensive lineman in Wyatt Davis. Saints here at 28, but hold on, we have another trade. So this one will actually be the last one of the draft. So the Saints are actually going to trade down with Philadelphia, who's going to trade back in the 1st round. They're going to give up their second 2 5s and a 2nd next year for the Saints' 28th pick. So the Saints, they only have 3 picks this year. They go and get a couple more picks this year, and a 2nd-round pick next year, which will really help them out. And the Eagles, they trade up and get the best player on the board in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So Eagles defense was bad last year, especially their linebackers. Alex Singleton was a bright spot, which many people weren't expecting. But even then, you still need just a dominant linebacker guy in Owusu-Koramoah. They really have not put a lot of investment in the linebacking core. I can't even tell you the last time you drafted a linebacker in the 1st round. Like, it's just been really bad ever since Jordan Hicks left. So they go get someone who can be a linebacker 1 in Jeremiah, and you slowly start to build back that Philly defense. Packers here at 29, they are going to get Joseph Osai, a linebacker out of Texas. He's listed here as an edge, but he's really more of a coverage linebacker. Green Bay's defense is terrible. Like, do I really even have to say that? This could be a spot where they go get more Tony or Marshall, but I feel like we really need to help out the defense. They just suck with stopping the run. It's plain and simple. Pettin isn't coming back as a defensive coordinator, so I guess that's good. But I feel like you still need to go and get them some help on the on the defense side of the ball. And you get someone in Osai who can play both edge rusher and coverage. However, I feel like he'd be more of a coverage guy in Green Bay. So Joseph Osai goes to the Green Bay Packers. 3 more picks here. We have the Bills here at 30. They are actually going to take Kadarius Toney out of Florida. So John Brown and Cole Beasley aren't getting any younger. So imagine just that trio of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Kadarius Toney. Tony, I don't know how you say it, is one of the best route runners in this year's draft. Like, it is disgusting, some of his routes. Man, so that would be so fun to watch, watching Allen throw up to either Tony or Diggs. Like, defenses will have a hard time stopping that, and I feel like if they get Tony, it will really help continue to make Buffalo's offense stay at an elite level. Bucks here at 31, they are going to select Mac Jones. So I originally had them taking Mac Jones in my first mock draft. He had an ankle injury in the Senior Bowl, so he didn't play, but he still ends up falling to Tampa Bay. God knows when the hell Brady is going to retire, like, honestly, but when he does retire, he needs someone who can really be a plug-and-play replacement for him. So Jones, he has that strong arm. He is honestly really a lot like Brady, if we're being honest. He isn't mobile. So Mac Jones, Alabama quarterbacks have not really been doing too well in the NFL lately. We really don't know what Tua is yet, but even before then, Alabama QBs just have not been panning out well. So I feel like with Jones, if you give him some development, he can really be somebody that can legit turn into a franchise guy, and the Bucks are going to need that when and if Brady retires, whenever that may be. And with the last pick in the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs go and select Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama. So right now they have 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen out, or like 3 of their 5, something like that. But even before then, Leatherwood is a really good offensive line prospect. He is like 6'6", like 320 pounds. He's a beast. You just protect Patrick Mahomes more. You get younger on the offensive line. It helps out the run game. Like, whenever you choose offensive line, you really can't say it's a bad pick unless it's like not a need for them. With the Chiefs, is a little bit of a need, albeit they do need a little bit more help on the inside of the line. However, Leatherwood is probably someone you can really put anywhere on the offensive line. So Chiefs get one of the best offensive linemen in the draft in Alex Leatherwood. So that is it for my mock draft version 2.0. Pretty interesting mock draft, to say the least. A couple of weird trades. I feel like every team gets a huge hole filled. So obviously as free agency starts, the mock draft is going to change. This is nowhere close to being final, so I understand that. But yeah, with all that out of the way, thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, share this with all of your friends. I just love the growth I've been experiencing lately. It's not a lot, but still is just cool to see a different subscriber count every day whenever I check the channel. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy.